All right, so a very good morning to all teachers and students, and welcome to my session here. I am Mr. Mohana, and I am a teacher from Methodist Girls School, Ipoh. And today I'm going to share with all of you a few techniques on how to improve your continuous writing skills. Okay, so before we get started, please make sure that you have the module that has been given to the school. Okay, and now what we are going to look at my session today. First, I'm going to share with you some tips. Okay, some general tips on how to improve writing. Okay, and then we are going to look at that's the first thing. Okay, I'm going to just generally show you the format and the marking scheme, a simplified marking scheme, and for you to evaluate where you stand. And then the next thing is we are going to look at how to develop simple paragraphs. Okay, for example, A+ paragraph. If I'm sure all of you here are aspiring A students. Okay, regardless A-, A, or A+. All of you are aspiring A students. So I'm going to share some ideas on how to develop your writing skill for better, skills so that you can actually write better and start practicing from now to write better for your SPM. And I'm also going to share with you one technique. Next, I will be sharing with you a technique on how you can improve your writing skill. Okay, a reading skill, a way of reading essays towards improving your essay writing skill. And then I will also share with you, we will look at one essay describing an accident. Okay, how to develop that paragraph into develop ideas in paragraphs so that you know what kind of sentences you can build when you're writing an essay. And I will also look at one factual essay writing skill. Okay, one factual essay that is on your last page. And okay, so we will look at that. So I'm going to share with you one narrative and one what I would say a factual essay today. Okay, and in between I will also share other tips on what are the things that you need to improve in your writing. Okay, so all right, so let me get into my presentation, my screen. Okay, if you cannot see, if teachers, please take note, if you cannot see my, when I'm sharing my screen, if you cannot see my presentation, please just type on the chat box so that I'm aware what's happening. Before we get you have muted the speaker from your side, yeah? Or else I may have to remove you. Okay, so to ensure that we do not have any disruption in between, so please ensure that you have muted your speaker from your part. Okay, or else it's going to disrupt all the others. Okay, now let us get started. All right. First, we are going to look at, okay, generally, we would, you all are aware that for continuous writing, the total score is 50 marks, right? Now, let us look where you stand. Okay, this is a simplified description for the scores given for continuous writing. Okay, a very simplified description. Now, if you are at 44 or 50, okay, if your score is at 44 to 50, okay, so this is where it is. Okay, if your essay is excellent, okay, for example, if your score is at 44 to 50, we would definitely say that it's an excellent essay. Now, to reach there, you must have used impressive vocabulary and a variety of structures. And there are only a few errors in your essay. Okay, this is a checklist for you to see where you stand and where you want to reach. Okay, if you are aspiring to get an A+ for your writing in SPM English, okay, this is what you have to work towards, right? And if your writing score is at 38 to 43, meaning to say your essay is excellent, but there are some errors that need to be improved. And if your score is between 32 to 37, okay, your essay means it's very simple. It may have no errors. Or you use impressive vocabulary and structure correctly, but there are errors. Okay, quite some gross errors that made your marks to be between 32 to 37. And now, if your score is from 26 to 31, okay, if your score is from 26 to 31, okay, the reason is because there is at least one patch of accuracy in your essay, probably half a paragraph or one paragraph or part of your essay where you have written some correct sentences. Okay, this is just a general guideline, a simplified guideline to help you to see where you stand and where you can go. Okay, now, if your score is 20 to 25, let's say, okay, probably you may have at least one correct sentence in your essay, or your essay is longer than 350 words. Okay, and your essay is longer than 350 words. And if it's 14 to 19, okay, meaning to say there are a lot of errors, there's no correct sentence in your essay, not even one correct sentence, and your essay might be longer than 350 words. Or if there is at least one correct sentence in your essay, but there are a lot of errors, okay, gross errors, okay, so, and your essay is shorter than 350 words, this is where you stand, 14 to 19. And if you get below 10, for example, 8 to 13, meaning to say your teacher only understands few parts of your essay, not everything, okay, your teacher probably may not be able to understand your essay. And if your essay is from 0 to 7, okay, meaning to say your teacher cannot understand both parts of your essay. Now, so this is a general description that we give and that I'm sharing with you to show where you stand and where you can go. Now, in order to be able to attain a high score, for example, let's say you are aspiring to become an A student, you want to get an A+ for your SPM English. So this is where you should stand, at least from 43 to 38 to 50. Okay, you have to elevate your writing, your essay, the quality of your essay to 38 to 50. Okay, you may not be able to get 50, but you can at least go above 30, right? Okay, now let's look at some questions. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, now let us move on to the next slide. Okay, so these are the general checklist for narrative writing. Now, if you want to improve your essay, now these are the things that you have to make sure that you have. First, tenses. Okay, so you need to have a mixture of short and long sentences. Okay, simple sentences, compound and complex sentences in your essay. Secondly, you need to have a combination of tenses. Okay, you need to have past, present, and continuous. And the next thing is you need to have a mixture of sentence type. For example, you have direct and indirect speech. Okay, and your sentence types are varied. Okay, they are rich and very descriptive. Okay, this is the first part of your checklist for narrative writing. Okay, you cannot have your entire essay with just short sentences. Okay, and now let us look at the next one. Okay, vocabulary. When we talk about vocabulary, you need to have a vivid vocabulary, meaning to say specific vocabulary, okay, and effective repetition. And when I say effective repetition, it doesn't mean repeating the same word, okay, meaning to say when I say effective repetition, you may use the same idea, for example, walking, but you use different words, okay, to put in the idea. And then you may have double and triple emphasis, okay. Your ideas are precise, especially when you show emotion. Okay, crying. Okay, what kind of cry is that? She burst into cry, or she burst into tears, or you can say tears were cascading down her cheeks. Okay, these are two different ways of crying. You know, I'm generally sharing with you some emotions. Okay, burst into tears, and drops of tears were cascading down her cheeks. Okay, these are two different ways of showing emotion. Okay, now be creative in the use of idioms, proverbs, phrasal verbs, and most importantly, accuracy in punctuation. Now, talking about being creative in the use of idioms, proverbs, or phrasal verbs, just be reminded that when I say use of idioms, yeah, it doesn't mean that your entire essay or entire essay is flooded or cluttered with idioms and proverbs and phrasal verbs. No, that is not what a good essay is. A good essay has a reasonable amount of idioms. Sometimes some really good essays, they don't have idioms because they do not need to use idioms for that particular idea. Now, if you want to use idioms, make sure you use the idioms that fit into the essay. It is not right for you to memorize just a list of idioms, for example, 30 to 50 idioms, and then I know many students do that. Okay, you memorize 30 to 50 idioms, and you try to fit in a lot of idioms from there, what you have memorized into your essay. That is not the right thing to do. Okay, you need to know how to use those idioms. Are they a precise idea to be used in your essay, especially if you are doing narrative or descriptive writing, or any form like factual or argumentative? So you have to be, please remember, okay, the use of idioms, not necessarily every paragraph you must have idioms. Every paragraph you must have proverbs. No, it's not like that. You fit in when it is necessary. Okay, and yeah, accuracy in punctuation. For example, just now in Juan Aisha's session, she said the use of exclamation and all that. Yes, reasonable amount. Okay, not unnecessarily used. Okay. Okay, so first I said about tenses. Basically, tenses are about grammar. Next, I said about vocabulary. All these are not in your notes, yeah. So you just listen and take notes, right? And then style of writing. Okay, checklist for narrative writing. Okay, we have different styles. It may be suspense, building up the plot, or giving a point of view, or communication. Okay, all these ideas I will explain further when we look at the sample essay. Now, let us go into essay writing. Okay, I'm not going to go on and on about the format and so on. Now, if you look at the first, second, page 2, page 3, and page 4 of your module. Okay. Okay, I'm stop sharing my screen for a while. Okay, now, okay, if you look at page 2, page 3, and page 4 of your module, okay, these are some examples of phrases, okay, adjectives, okay, verbs, or double and triple emphasis that you may use in your essays. Okay, so these examples I'm sharing here, you may just look at them. Okay, I will show in some of my essays that I'm going to share with you how these ideas have been used. Okay, how these ideas have been used effectively in essays. Okay, so if you want to improve, okay, you have to start practicing from now how to use all these phrases. Okay, some of you may find, oh my God, these phrases are too difficult for me to understand. Okay, they are very difficult. I can't reach that level. Now, my question to you, if you want to be an excellent student, okay, if you want to be an excellent student, you have to start from somewhere. If your level is at C or D now, you have to start working. You have to start practicing to improve to a better level from now. For example, let me give you an example. Now, let's say you are someone who is practice essay writing skill every day. Let's say you're writing essay. You want to improve your writing. You're writing essay every day. One day you write one essay, 350 words. Now, if you do not know what to improve and where to improve, you are just writing it out, writing essays every day, what can you possibly improve? You ask yourself. That is why it is very important for you to have an objective, set an objective in your mind. If you want to get an A or A+ for your English language, paper 1 is crucial. So you have to improve your essay writing skill. If you have been practicing essay for the past 2 years to get an A for your SPM, and you are going nowhere, you are not improving, your grammatical errors are still there, meaning to say you are not doing the right way. So you have to go, oh, okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll go slow down. Okay, sorry, yeah, I slow down. So you have to start from somewhere, meaning to say set an objective. When you sit and practice your writing, okay, when you sit and practice your writing, think what you want to write, okay, how you want to develop, and what are the new things that you want to try in your essay. What do I mean by new thing? Sorry, what do I mean by new thing? Are you going to attempt a new vocabulary? Are you going to attempt an idiom? Or you want to use a proverb? You know, you should try practicing this. Or first, you want to learn to write without errors. Yes, set an objective like that. Okay, first today, when I write my essay today, this is what I want to improve. You said that. That is for this idea that I'm sharing with you is for self-learning purposes. Your teacher may come up with so many ideas. Today, Mr. Mohana will share with you a lot of ideas. But if you don't have a sense of purpose, if you don't have an objective to improve, the right objective to improve, then you will go nowhere. Just keep this in mind, okay, before I continue, yeah? All right. So if you look at page 2, 3, and 4, okay, these are some examples of creative phrases or ideas that you may use in your descriptive or narrative, or also your factual or argumentative essays. Now, let us look at the task. Okay, first look at page 5. Okay, let us look at this. Okay, Amina was angry. Okay, Amina was angry. She's not just angry. Amina was actually very angry. Okay, you can just add the idea. Amina was very angry. Okay, now think, if you are going to describe Amina's anger, okay, if you are going to describe Amina's anger, what are the ideas you're going to use to describe her anger? Okay, angry. Let's say I challenge you to write a paragraph without using the word angry. Okay, think about it. Okay, just take about 20 seconds. Think about it. Amina was angry. So I want you to describe Amina's anger. Okay, I want you to describe Amina's anger. Okay, start thinking, how would you describe her anger? Her facial expression, her mannerism, the way she talks, or what else? What are the things that you can think of when you talk about Amina's anger? Okay, Amina's anger. Amina is not just angry, she was very angry. So how are you going to describe her anger? Think about it. Just take about 20 to 30 seconds. You may jot it down on your module before I share with you the answer. Okay, so we are looking at Amina's anger. Now, let me share with you the one example of a paragraph. Okay, one example of a paragraph. Okay, this is what we were looking at. Amina was very angry. Okay, Amina was very angry. Okay, so when we talk about Amina was very angry, okay, let me share with you one paragraph here. Okay, look at this paragraph. Okay, Amina was very angry. She looked at her friend angrily. She shouted at her friend angrily. She walked out of the office angrily. She closed the door angrily. And she started her car and drove angry. Now, can you see how many times the idea angry has been repeated here? Okay? She looked at her friend angrily. She shouted at her friend angrily. She walked out of the office angrily. She closed the door angrily, and she started her car and drove angrily. Okay, please keep in mind this is written in past tense, yeah? Right? Okay, now take a moment to think what are the changes that you can do to this paragraph to describe Amina's anger in a better way. What are the things that you can change here to describe Amina's anger in a better way? Okay, take a moment to think. Okay, I hope I have slowed down. If I'm still going very fast, please delay. Okay, like Kwan Aisha just now, we are like confined in a, so I don't know how fast I am talking as well. So now I understand how Kwan Aisha would have felt just now, right? Okay, so let us go back to my presentation. Okay, so I've given you a moment to think. Okay, now let us pay attention to these phrases. Okay, let us pay attention to these ideas. Okay, let me share with you this. Okay, look at this. Okay, look at she looked at her friend angrily. Okay, so I have shown you this. Now, how can we change this? Okay, the looking, the shouting, the walking, or the closing of door angrily. Let me share with you the next paragraph. Okay, you look at this paragraph. Okay, grabbing the key. Okay, can you all see the presentation now? Other schools? Okay, I'll share again. I stop and I share again. Okay, I'm sharing again. Okay, so this is the PowerPoint, yeah? So this is describing Amina's anger. So you look at this, grabbing a key, okay? Now my scene here is Amina was very angry. Okay, Amina was very angry. So she's taking her key and leaving the place angrily and getting into her car. So this is the situation that I have given here. Now let us describe Amina's anger. And if you see, I did not use any word, the word angry in this paragraph. Okay, let us see. Grabbing a key, she stormed out, slamming the door closed. Okay, you see, slamming the door, closing the door. Just now it was closing the door angrily. So I changed it to slamming the door closed. She stormed out. Okay, stormed out. Just now we wrote she was walking angrily. Now I changed it into she stormed out. Okay, next, she jumped into her car, started the engine, and was set to leave. Okay, was set to leave. Okay, and this is a direct speech. I will never trust you again. She barked at him at the top of her lungs. Okay, just now we said she shouted, right? So here I said she barked at him at the top of her lungs. She was shaking like a leaf. Her whole body quivered with an uncontrollable rage. Salty warm tears streamed down her pale soft cheeks, only stopping when they reached her swollen dry lips. Okay, her foot stomped onto the small accelerator, tires squealing as she sped away, leaving an odor of burnt rubber lingering in the air. Okay, so if you see, and I'm just stop sharing this for a while, yeah? Now, so if you see the presentation that I showed to you just now, okay, the paragraph that I showed to you just now, it was about Amina's anger. Now, I have used different phrases here to describe. Okay, I had to use different expressions here, different phrases here to describe Amina's anger. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Okay, so you look at this, stomped out, jumped into the car, barked at him at the top of her lungs, shaking like a leaf, whole body quivered, salty warm tears streamed down. She didn't burst into tears, okay? They reached her swollen dry lips. Her foot stomped onto the small accelerator, okay? Tires squealing as she sped away. So all these are the indicators to show that Amina was angry. Okay, all these are the indicators to show that Amina was angry. Now, if you see, we started with this, Amina was angry. Okay, so this is how you should develop your essay. Now, if you do not know how to develop your paragraph, so this is what you need to pay attention to. Now, in this paragraph, when I talk about Amina's anger, I describe Amina's actions. Okay, please take note, write it down. Describe Amina's actions in anger. Then I describe what Amina said in anger. First, describe her actions. Second, I describe what she said in anger. Okay, and I also describe her body language. She was shaking like a leaf. Her body quivered with an uncontrollable rage. Okay, this is her body language. In anger, okay, describing her body language. Next, her emotion. Okay, I'm bringing her emotion. Although she was very angry, salty, warm tears streamed down her pale, soft cheeks. Why is she crying when she's angry? You know, some people, they cry when they are angry. You know, anger and crying are two emotions that can be connected to one another, linked to one another. So that's why I put here salty, warm tears streamed down her pale, soft cheeks. Then, okay, again, I go back to her action. So if you pay attention to this paragraph, so you could see that I describe Amina's anger through her actions. Okay, these are your tips on how to write narrative. Okay, how to, describe her actions, describe her mannerism or body language. I describe what she said in anger and her emotions, the mixed emotion that she had. She cried in anger. So these four things that I have put in to describe Amina's anger. Now, you look at the next slide. Okay, you look at your next task. Okay, your next task is if you look at your next task, Ali's father bought a handphone for him for his birthday. Okay, Ali's father bought him a handphone for him for his birthday. Okay, please change it. Ali was very happy. Okay, let me share with you this. Ali was extremely happy because his father bought a smartphone for him for his birthday. Okay, Ali was extremely happy because his father bought a smartphone for him for his birthday. Now, so you see, Ali was extremely happy because his father bought a smartphone for him for his birthday. Again, I repeated, right? Now, please pay attention to the idea extremely happy. Now, if you are to describe Ali's happiness because he got a smartphone for his birthday, now what are the things that you need to keep in mind before describing this as one short paragraph? What are the things that you need to take into consideration to put this as an idea in one paragraph? Think about it for about 1 minute. The idea of extremely happy. How is Ali going to show to his father that he is extremely happy? Okay, think about it. How Ali is going to show to his father that he is extremely happy? Through his action? Through his words? Think about it. Okay, now let us get back to our idea. Now, I'm just going to share with you what are the things that you can consider when you write this. Ali was extremely happy because his father bought a smartphone for him for his birthday. Okay, these are some questions before you describe your paragraph. These are some questions that you should keep in mind. Okay, these are some questions that you should keep in mind before describing your paragraph. Okay, how happy was Ali? Yes, the sentence shows Ali was extremely happy. So how happy was Ali? Okay, you have to keep that in mind. Next, how did he express his happiness? Did he go and hug his father? Okay, did he thank his father profusely? Now, how did he show his happiness to his father? Okay, and what did he say? What were the words that he said to show that he was happy? And what was his body language? Okay, just now, if perhatian, guru sejarah 2 countries tidak masuk ke kelas sekarang juga. Guru sejarah 2 countries tidak masuk ke kelas sekarang. Thank you. Okay, again, what did he say to show that he was happy? What was his body language that indicated happiness? Okay, so you have 4 here. How happy was Ali? How did he express his happiness? What did he say to show that he was happy? And what was his body language that indicated happiness? Now, these are the 4 things that you can consider when you describe Ali's happiness. Now, let us look at the paragraph. Okay, look at this. I took a deep breath, feeling like a kite taking to the sky. Okay, here, the first sentence, I have used a simile. Deep breath, feeling like a kite taking to the sky. Okay, excitement. Okay, it means excitement, right? First, tears of joy welled up my eyes. Here, yes, I use the idea of tears. Ali's emotion. The simile shows Ali's feeling. Okay, Ali's feeling was expressed using a simile, right? Then Ali's emotion. Tears of joy welled up my eyes. Okay, tears, there can be 2 types of tears. Tears of happiness and tears when you are sad. Okay, also you have tears of disappointment. Okay, if you are feeling disappointed, you can always use ideas to describe tears of the tears to express your disappointment. I was utterly speechless. Okay, this brings in Ali's expression. I was speechless. Okay, so you see the first 3 sentences. I took a deep breath, feeling like a kite taking to the sky. Next, tears of joy welled up my eyes. Next, I was utterly speechless. Now, again, Ali's expression. My lips could not stop forming a wide smile, showing my white teeth the entire morning. Again, I'm bringing in the idea of Ali's expression, how he expressed his happiness. No, you see the way the idea of extremely happy can be expressed in so many different ways. Okay, you can put in so many ideas to form into one paragraph. This is what I'm trying to show you here. You see, extremely happy because his father bought a smartphone. It can be taken into different ways. Okay, I put in different sentences to show how he expressed his happiness. First, his feeling. Second, his emotion. Third, his expression. And the fourth sentence is also his expression. Next, his action. Hugging my father. Okay, his action. And then what he said, I promise. You see, I didn't say I said. You know the I said, I promise, I whispered, I shouted. Okay, I nagged. Okay, the I here, Ali is promising his father. I promise I will take good care of this precious gift like I protect my own life. Okay, I promised I will take good care of this precious gift like I protect my own life. So if you see this paragraph, okay, now, so if you are writing a descriptive, if you are writing a narrative, you want to score an A, you can always try. Not necessarily, okay, keep in mind, yeah, the moment you start practicing, you will not immediately be able to write a paragraph like a wonderful paragraph and A plus paragraph. It takes time. You need to practice. You need to explore. Remember the two words I say, you need to practice. Second word I say, you need to explore. You cannot immediately say, wow, I cannot write paragraph like this. Ayo, this paragraph is so difficult. Ayo, cannot lah. You cannot have negative thought. If you want to reach here, this one I'm sharing with you a best example. If you want to reach here, you first need to practice. You first need to explore. I'm going to share with you how to explore after this. Now just let us see how do we write here. Okay, tears of joy welled up my eyes. Utterly speechless. Okay, lips could not stop forming a wide smile. Hugging my father, I promise I will take good care of this precious gift. Now, you don't have to worry that you may not be able to copy all these things. If you are unable to copy, don't worry. Just take notes of what I say. Later on, I will share a video on this. Okay, so don't worry, yeah. Now, let us go on to the next one. Okay, the next one. Okay, I was late to school and my teacher told me off. Okay, one, you were late to school. Second, your teacher told you off. What are the possible ideas to consider? Okay, when you were late to school, how will you be very lackadaisical? You will not show any expression. Okay, I'm stop sharing here. Okay, now you look at this question. Were you running to school? How did you feel? How angry was your teacher? Did you say anything to your teacher? Okay, these four questions, okay, can be interconnected to one another. And you can add another question. Did your teacher say anything to you? Or what did your teacher say to you? Okay, consider these 5 questions. What are the things that you can describe here? You may not use, you do not need to use very difficult vocabulary if you do not know any. Just think, how are you going to elaborate this on simple ideas? Okay, I'm giving you 1 minute, or okay, take 2 minutes to think how you're going to elaborate this idea. Okay? Okay, now I'm going back into the slide again. Okay, let us just look at this. Okay, so, all right. So these were the questions that I asked you to consider. Okay, running. Okay, so if you want to say you were running, this one is a first person point of view. You're talking about yourself. I was late to school. So how would you feel? Okay, how would your action, okay, think about somebody who's late to school, who was late to school, and how would the person's expression would be? How would the person be running or walking? Okay, the body language. Okay, if he was running or running very fast, was he like sweating? So think about it. Okay, and or did the person will like show a lackadaisical attitude because came late to school and made the teacher angry? Okay, think about it. Okay, now let us see a sample paragraph for this. Okay, so these are the ideas that you can consider when you want to describe. So when you have a question to write, you want to describe a situation, think of all these possible things: actions, emotions. Okay, please write down actions, emotion. Okay, body language. Okay, what the person said. Okay, now I'm going to show you again another paragraph with all these things being taken into consideration. Okay, look at this action. Okay, panting deeply, I lunched at the closing school gate and headed straight to the classroom. Okay, this is an action. I started with an action. Okay, panting deeply, I lunched at the closing. Okay, coming back. Okay, next, I'm going into dialogue with action. Made it. Okay, dialogue. I wiped my dripping sweat with my sleeve and fanned myself with my hands. Okay, action. I have one short dialogue here. Made it. Okay, I forgot to put the inverted comma, the open and closing. You please put it. I wiped my dripping sweat with my sleeves and fanned myself with my hands. Okay, next, I continue. The same sentence, like a bird with a broken wing. Again, I added a simile here. Like a bird with a broken wing, trying to desperately pull down. Okay? Fend myself with my hand like a bird with a broken wing, trying desperately to pull down. Okay, that is about me. Now, you look at the next one, the next dialogue coming in. You are late again. This is the dialogue from the teacher. Okay, just that dialogue, the teacher, you are late again. And I didn't put anything to say the teacher said. So you can say, you can add if you want, you are late again. The teacher yelled at me. Okay, you can say, you are late again, put the inverted commas, and then you can say, the teacher yelled at me, or Puan Su, or Encik Mohana yelled at me. Right? Now, look at your reaction for the teacher yelling. With tears brimming in my eyes, and face turning red. Okay, here, facial expression and emotion. I started. Okay, I did not say I said. I started. Said and started have two different meanings. Okay, you see, remember when I told you about the checklist earlier. Okay, and I say your description must be vivid. Okay, this is what vivid is. I started. I did not say I said I'm sorry, teacher. If you just in your narration, if you say I said I'm sorry, teacher, and I won't let it happen again, it's not going to bring any idea. The reader will not be able to picturize what you are trying to say. But if you say I started, so when you put the idea I started, so the reader will be able to picturize that the direct speech here is going to be stuttering. So I say, I'm sorry, teacher. Okay, the stuttering here, I won't let it happen again. You know, you bring in the stuttering idea here. That is why, you see, before you put your direct speech, instead of saying I said, she said, he said, they said, you can always change the said into stuttered, whispered, okay, lamented. Okay, lamented means in anger lah. Okay, so this are the things that you need to consider when you write directed writing. Okay, considering you are aiming for A minus, or A plus, right? Now, how are we? Okay, so now for this session, okay, I have shared with you the first three ideas of Amina was angry. Okay, next, Ali was extremely happy. Then the next is I was late to school. Now, before we go on to the next one, okay, now I'm going to share with you a tip, okay, a way of how should you improve your writing. Okay, what should you do to improve your writing? Now, I'm sure, okay, I have stopped my presentation, yeah. I will start back into another presentation after this. Okay, now if you see, many of you might be studying for English, but how are you studying? Practicing essay? Does that work? You study essay, reading sample essays, isn't it? Now, does that work? Reading sample essay. How do you read sample essay? Now, whenever I ask students, how much time do you spend reading sample essay? A lot of students say, I read only for 10 minutes. Or we read for 10 to 15 minutes. Now, 10 to 15 minutes, how much can you gain? Now, here, I'm going to share with you one tip. Okay, I'm going to share with you one tip on how to study sample essay so that you can develop your writing skill towards better. You know, at this point, reading is actually very good to improve your writing skill. But with SPM just a 5 to 6 months away, you will not have time to read novels because you have all the other subjects to cover. So what is one simplest way for you to develop your writing skill is by reading sample essays with certain techniques. Okay, reading sample essays with certain techniques so that you know where and what to develop in your writing, right? Okay, now I'm going into presentation mode. Okay, I'm going to share with you a slide on how to improve, how to read sample essays. Okay, how to prepare for essay writing by reading sample essays. Now, you should actually allocate 1 hour every day. If you can, please allocate 1 hour every day to study a sample essay. Okay, if you can't do it every day, if you want to use this technique, you can't do it every day. You can use every alternate days. Meaning to say, you study Thursday, you rest. Then Friday you study, Saturday you rest. You can do that. Okay, if you feel that you want to, you are really geared up to improve your essay writing, you can spend 1 hour every day. Monday 1 hour, Tuesday 1 hour, Wednesday 1 hour, Thursday 1 hour, Friday 1 hour. Okay, and then Saturday, Sundays you can take a break. Okay, you can take a break on Saturday, Sunday. Just spend 5 days continuously. If you feel like 5 days continuously is too taxing for you, you can take alternate days. Okay, a day, if like you're doing on Monday, then Tuesday you rest, Wednesday you do it. Thursday you rest, Friday you do it. Saturday you rest, Sunday you do it. Now, this technique will not work if you do on Monday and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday you rest, then you start back on Friday. Then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you work, you rest. No, it doesn't work. It has to be done continuously. Okay, one day after another or every day, and then take 1 day break or 2 days break. Okay, I hope you understand. If you don't understand, hopefully I'm not going too fast. Okay, hopefully I'm not going too fast. Okay, I'm going into presentation mode again. Okay, so 1 hour. Now, the 1 hour you divide into 4 15 minutes. Okay, this circle that I put here is the 1 hour circle. Yeah, I put the 1 hour circle time duration. Okay, 1 hour time duration, and this is divided into 4 15 minutes. This 1 hour is divided into 4 15 minutes. Now, if you find an essay that you can work within 1 hour, and find something that is a little bit more challenging than what your level is. Okay, do not go for a PT3 essay or Form 1, Form 2 essay. Try to get SPM sample essays. Right? Now, what you have to do is the first 15 minutes. Okay, the first 15 minutes, you have to do serious reading. Okay, reading that is serious reading, identifying difficult phrases. Okay, reading as you read. Okay, the first 15 minutes, serious reading. Read as you read, identify the difficult phrases. Okay, now how do you know that the difficult phrase that you found in your essay or the creative phrase that you found in essay? Now, not necessarily difficult phrases. Yeah, you can use, if you find anything that is creative there, any interesting ideas that you feel like you will use in your essay, all that take into consideration. The difficult ones probably will be those that you do not understand. Okay, so anything that you find interesting that you can use in your essay, you can identify. Now, if you find your essay, you want to improve grammar, okay, you can also if you want to improve your grammar, you can take an essay which has been written in past tense, okay? So you can identify the form of tenses and how the tenses have been developed. Okay, here, when you say reading, serious reading by identifying difficult phrases, identify the difficult phrases. How do you know whether you understand those phrases? Now, if you cannot do these three things, first, if you cannot explain the meaning of the word to a friend, if you do not know how to use the word in your essays, if you cannot explain the meaning of the word, meaning to say you don't understand the word. Some people, when I ask, do you understand the word? You would say, yes, I understand. And you translate into another language. That is not displaying understanding. If you are like saying that word, you don't understand. If you are translating the word into another language, basically it means you don't understand the word. So that is why you have to be able to explain the word in English. Use the word to describe to write it in a sentence. Okay. Now that is for the first 15 minutes. Reading, serious reading. When I say serious reading, make sure you don't have earphones, listen to music, and all those things that will distract you. Why? Because reading is absorbing information into your brain. So when you read, okay, you need to pay attention so that you remember all the information. So if you are putting earphones and listening to songs while reading, meaning to say you are trying to bring two information into your brain. And most likely you will be paying more attention to the song, that the song will go into your brain, but nothing from the essay goes into your brain. That is why I say serious reading without earphones or listening to songs. Now, that's the first thing. Okay? Then the second thing is, look up for the word in dictionary. You can use online dictionary or any other dictionary. And try to copy out sentences in the dictionary or from the dictionary. Copy out sentences. Okay? And try to make sense of the meaning and explain to yourself. Okay, this is one way of reading. Okay, one way of reading and looking up for the word. Okay, this is the next 15 minutes, yeah? Okay, now if you find the essay is too long and you can't finish in 1 hour, doesn't matter. You can do the first part of the essay on day 1 and the second part of the essay on day 2. Okay, so you look up for the words in the dictionary. Try to copy out the sentences in the dictionary. Try to make sense of the meaning and explain to yourself. All right. So this is the second thing that you can do. Right. Next, the third thing, try to construct your own sentences from what you have learned. Now here, okay, you can try to, if you are reading a story, okay, for example, let's say you're reading a story about Amina was very angry here. And you have picked a few ideas from that essay of Amina's anger. Okay, now here, try to use the same idea, describe another person's anger. For example, Mutusami's anger. Okay, you can describe Mutusami's anger here using the ideas that you have learned from this sample essay. Now, try constructing a few sentences. Okay, if you are convinced, try doing again and again a few times for the next 15 minutes. Okay, try to do something similar from what you have read. Okay, try to do something similar from what you have read. Okay, so that you know that you are on the right track. And try to refer to the meaning of the word that you are using. Okay, and look at the sentences that have been given in the dictionary. Okay, the online dictionaries, for example, Macmillan online dictionary, they are quite handy and they have a lot of interesting ideas for when it comes to sentence building. So you can refer to like Macmillan dictionary. Okay, so you construct your own sentences. Okay, now next one. Okay, first 15 minutes done, second 15 minutes done, third 15 minutes done. Now what should you do the last 15 minutes? Okay, the last 15 minutes, compare what you have written with what you have studied. Okay, compare what you have written with what you have studied. Compare the sample essay to what you have written and what you have found in the Now, this is not, okay, why I say go to bed. Okay, I suggest this to be your last activity on a day before you go to bed. Make it as your last activity. Okay, last activity on the day, of the day before you go to bed. Because once you have finished all your homework, finish everything that you're supposed to do, your homework, whatever that you want to do before you go to bed, allocate 1 hour. Allocate 1 hour to do this activity, then you go to bed. Then when you wake up the next morning, before you start your day, just take 5 minutes to look what you have read. Don't worry that you might have forgotten. Don't worry that you might have forgotten that what you have read. You can always refer back to the notes that you have taken. You may use one exercise book to write all these notes. Okay, like if you're writing one essay, okay, you dedicate 1 page, write all these notes, okay, on that page. Then page 2 for the second essay, page 3 on the third essay on the third day. Now, if you do this, okay, continuously, let's say your trial is somewhere end of September. Okay, let's say it's on 27th of September. Now, today is 27th of August. You roughly have 1 month. Okay, you roughly have 1 month. If you could study like one essay every day, by the time you have reached your trial, you would have studied 30 essays. And that 30 essays, I'm sure you would have picked up a lot and a lot and a lot of ideas. And these are the ideas that will actually help you to write your essay better. It will not only improve your vocabulary, it will also improve your sentence structure. It will also improve your grammar, because you have read, you have explored the essay. So as you explore the essay, I'm giving you 1 hour, right? I'm giving you 1 hour time, not 10 minutes to 15 minutes. If you read essay 10 to 15 minutes, you won't get anything. And if you memorize essay, some of you memorize essay like you take 3 to 4 hours to memorize a few essays. Now, rather than spending time memorizing essays and just a few things from there, why don't you take these ideas here, read, study. This is not just reading, this is studying an essay. So when you study essays, that is where you can improve for better. Okay, because as I say, reading, okay, helps to bring in the observed information. Reading helps to absorb information, and after absorbing information, when you write, this absorbed information that is stored in your brain, we call it in your subconscious mind. Okay, this information that is stored in your brain will automatically start flowing. Okay, I'm stop sharing this slide. Okay, so this is when it helps you, okay, to write better. Now, just now you saw all the paragraph, a few paragraphs that I shared with you with a lot of ideas. Where did I pick all these ideas? I picked from reading. Okay, I picked from the sample essays that I read, and then I rewrite these ideas for my students or for myself. Okay, you see, so this is how you explore. You won't be able to improve without putting in effort, without putting in any ideas. You won't get impressive vocabularies, you won't get to improve your grammar in writing if you do not work in certain ways to improve it. Okay, and what I shared with you just now is one way for you to improve your writing skill by reading. And for your information, a lot of writers, very good writers, or students who can write really, really well, you ask them, what make them write very well? Because they read. Okay, because they read. Okay, that is why I'm giving you an option here. If you want to improve your writing skill, okay, for now, for SPM, as I said, you don't have time to read storybooks to improve your writing. So this is the one way, read sample essays, 1 day, 1 essay. Just like an apple, a day keeps the doctor away, an essay a day makes your essay better. Okay, read an essay a day makes your essay better. Okay, you try it now from today 27 August, until at least your SPM trial. Do it seriously every day. Please see whether you see an improvement or not. If you do not see any improvement, just email me. Mr. Mohana, your idea is crappy. Please scrap it off. Don't share it with people any longer. To you, because I can guarantee you that this idea actually works. Idea is actually tried and tested. It works. 1 essay a day. Explore it. Okay, now, so I've then study of pre. Okay, so if you do not know, if you writing essay every day without improving anything, this is where you should start working. Okay, with an objective: read one essay a day. Now, if you have any questions, you may ask in the chat box, and I will look to it. Yeah, after this. Okay. Now I'm going to the next part. Okay. Very quickly, task A and task B. Look at this. Rewrite the following paragraph. Okay, page 6. Yeah, page 6. Okay, page 6. It was a hot afternoon, and Jason was walking home school, and he felt a headache. The heat. He wished an umbrella to cover him from the sun. Now, this essay is a good essay. I wouldn't say it is a bad essay. It is a good essay, right? It is a good essay. But it can be improved. It can be improved. How can we improve this essay? What are the things to learn? Okay, how hot? Okay, you can underline all this. Yes, it was a hot afternoon. Jason was having a headache because of the heat. He wished his skin was burning intensely. He wished he had an umbrella. Now, what can you do to improvise this essay? Okay, a hot afternoon. How can you describe a hot afternoon? Okay, I'm sharing screen again, yeah? Okay, so we'll, okay, so I'm continuing with the screen sharing mode. Okay, so he wished he had an umbrella to cover him from the sun. Okay, so now let us look at this. Okay, see how it has been changed. Okay, look at how it has been changed. From here, it was a hot afternoon. The sun was merciless with its blazing rays, roasting the surrounding to a dreary brown. Okay, now further, okay, let us look at this. The sun was merciless with its blazing rays, roasting the surrounding to a dreary brown. Creamy white clouds were melted from the azure blue sky. Short, distinct shadows were cast on the pavement as Jason quickened his footsteps to get a respite from the blistering sun that was blinding his eyes and burning his skin. Beads of perspiration materialized on his skin, and a gush of hot moving air ruffled his hair. The heat was giving him a headache. How he wished he had an umbrella to shield him from the intense heat of the sun. Okay, so I have just improvised this paragraph here. This paragraph Okay, probably an A or A minus paragraph. Okay, I've improvised it into an A plus category paragraph. Okay, with its blazing rays, roasting the surrounding to a dreary brown, creamy white clouds were melted from the azure blue sky. Short distinct shadows were cast on the pavement as John quickened his footsteps to get respite from the blistering sun that was blinding his eyes and burning skin. Now, if you see, I have added in more ideas into this paragraph to make it better. So always remember, when you write your essay in the practicing stage, okay, at the practicing stage, if your teacher has assigned you an essay, okay, I'm stop sharing the screen for a while. Okay, I will share with you the slides again. Okay, now if your teacher is giving you an essay, right? The paragraph that you have written, for example, the first paragraph that I shared with you, okay, it was a hot afternoon and Jason was walking home. Now, probably this is one paragraph that you might have written. Now, do not just write essays, finish one round and then hand it to your teacher. No, that is not the right way. What you have to do is you have to always work on improvising your paragraph. Okay, work on improvising your paragraph. How to work on improvising your paragraph? Like once you have written one paragraph, look at the things that you can change. For example, the hot afternoon you can change. Walking you can change. Okay, walking with my heavy school bag on my back. Okay, walking you can change to so many ways. Okay, like trudging. Okay, dragging my feet. I was dragging my feet. Okay, you see, you can change it instead of using the word walking alone. Okay, the sun was burning my skin. Okay, you can change it. That intense heat from the sun. Okay, the intense heat was from the sun. Okay, when it's hot, you will be sweating. Okay, you can see I was sweating profusely, or I was perspiring profusely. So you need to change, make changes, and rewrite your essay. Improvise where you can again and again. The first round of writing that you write is known as first draft. After that, work on it, improvise it to make it better. No, you want to write essay, you want to improve, you have to always work on improvising your own essay, right? Let me very quickly share with you the next one on the task B. Suddenly there was a loud noise. Okay, look at this. I will share this again, yeah? I will share this again later. Look at this. Suddenly there was a loud noise. He felt painful in his ears. Everyone in the plane was screaming and David felt scared. Okay, so loud noise, I replace it with a loud noise pierced the air, and I gave here a sound effect. You can always add sound effect. Okay, he felt painful in his ears. Instead of saying he felt painful in his ears, you can say his ears ached and were ringing uncontrollably. Okay, his ears ached and were ringing uncontrollably. Pandemonium struck. Okay, pandemonium struck. People started screaming, shrieks filling the aircraft. David was overwhelmed by fear and began to breathe heavily. Okay, overwhelmed by fear is actually replacing David felt scared. Okay, overwhelmed by fear is actually replacing David felt scared. Right? So these are the things that you need to take into consideration. Now, your next task is, okay, look at page 7. Okay, look at page 7. Okay, on page 7, I've given you a set of paragraphs. Okay, it's a story actually describing an accident. Now, you have to rewrite the story. Now, you don't have to completely rewrite. I will just tell you what to do. Okay, add and change as much as possible. Okay, for example, look at the first paragraph. It was a very hot day. Underline, it was a very hot day. I was walking home with my heavy bag on my back. Underline that paragraph. I was walking home with my heavy bag on my back. Next paragraph, when I was climbing the overhead bridge, Underline the next one. I was very tired and breathing heavily. Underline. By the time I reached the top, I was already panting. Underline that. Okay, now, if you look at this, there are some ideas for this paragraph that you can replace. And the replacement phrases can be found on page 8. For example, it was a very hot day. You see, the scorching sun shone mercilessly. I took it from the suggested phrases in the box on next page. Okay? The scorching sun shone mercilessly above me as I trudged home under the weight of my bag. Now, so I trudged home under the weight of my bag. It's actually I was walking home. Okay, I was walking home. Okay, trudged. Then my bag that was laden with files and textbooks. Okay, heavy bag lah, files and textbooks. As I climbed the overhead bridge, I was gripping the railing. Okay, I have the idea gripping the railing, half heaving myself up. Okay, my breath grew fast and heavy. By the time my foot rested on the final step, I was already panting away. Now, what I want you to do is, you look at the other paragraph, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, paragraph 4, paragraph 5, paragraph 6. Now, what are the ideas that you can take from the phrases given on page 8? Okay, you look at the phrases on page 8. Okay, try to look at the phrases on page 8 and replace those phrases with some of the ideas in the sentences given in the essay. Okay, I give you 10 minutes to work on this. Okay, the time now is 11:55. Okay, the time now is 11:55. Okay, I will get back to you at 12:05. Okay, 12:05. Take 10 minutes. Try to look for the ideas. Okay, try to look for the ideas in the box given, and try to fit in at where it may possibly fit. Okay, you may start doing now. And while you are doing, if you have questions, teachers, you may just type the questions on the chat box. I will look at those questions and I may reply after the 10 minutes. Okay? All right, if you find it, okay, you don't have to basically rewrite the whole paragraph, yeah? Just identify phrases where you feel that it may fit in this particular paragraph. Okay, you have paragraph 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 left. Okay, first paragraph has been done for you. So you have paragraph 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 left. Look at the phrases on page 8. Look at these paragraphs and see which phrases may fit in which paragraph, and write them in the space provided. Okay, you do not need to reconstruct the entire paragraph, right? Okay. All right, okay. So I've given you 10 minutes to work on the task. Okay, now let us check how you can improve. You can improvise this paragraph, right? Okay, so this is okay. Now let us look at the second paragraph. Okay, suddenly someone shouted in a frightened voice, "A lorry is coming!" Then I heard a very loud bang and I was shocked. Okay, you see the idea here did not bring out the emotion that you want to say, someone shouted, "A lorry is coming!" Loud bang, I was shocked. These are the things that I'm going to change here. Okay, you look at this. Okay, I put a direct speech. Why can't we install escalators for all bridges? I grumbled inwardly. As I was still preoccupied with the grouses that were brewing in my mind, a voice broke my train of thoughts. Okay, train of thoughts, huh? Yeah, it's a typo here. Oh no, a lorry is going to crash. Okay, this is what I replaced with. Suddenly, I heard, okay, you can say suddenly I heard someone shouted, "Oh no, a lorry is going to crash." Okay, the frightened voice exclaimed in sheer horror. Or you can here just say, suddenly I heard a frightened voice exclaimed in sheer horror. "Oh no, a lorry is going to crash." This has more impact. This has better tone. Before I could even react, an ear-shattering bang reverberated in the air. Instead of saying very loud bang, I give you a vivid description. Ear-shattering bang reverberated in the air. Okay, you see, very loud bang. An ear-shattering bang reverberated in the air. I was shocked. Shocked, you see, causing me to jump out of my skin. So jump out of my skin is an expression to express shock. Okay? An ear-shattering bang reverberated in the air, causing me to jump out of my skin. So jump out of my skin, meaning to say, is a way to express somebody's shock. Okay? Now, if you look at this, okay, in this essay, there will be several ways of expressing shock. So here, the first one here, I've used jump out of my skin. I'm not going to repeat this. I will use different expression. This is what you keep in mind. You don't repeat the same idea. If your essay is about happiness, so you have to use different phrases or words describing happiness. If your essay is about describing sadness, you have to bring different expressions. Okay, don't use the same word over and over again. Now, let us look at the next paragraph. Everyone at the bridge stopped moving. When we recovered from the shock, we looked down from the bridge. It was very quiet and the vehicles around had stopped moving. A lorry had collided with a car in the middle of the road. Other drivers in the distance did not know what had happened. They began to honk angrily. You see, this is a very generally written paragraph, very directly written paragraph without putting details. Okay, there are no details in this paragraph. So we need to add details now. What kind of details can we add? You look at this. Everyone on the bridge was taken aback. Taken aback is another expression of shock. Here, everyone on the bridge stopped, right? Meaning to say the sound was so loud that all of it stopped. So I put it in a way, everyone on the bridge was taken aback and we all froze in our tracks. Okay, all these phrases are found in the box given, yeah? As we recovered our senses, we scrambled to the railing and peered over. Okay? The scene of wreckage was hushed in deathly silence. Okay, scene of the wreckage means the place where the accident happened. It was very quiet. Okay, and was hushed in deathly silence. So the quietness, I put here deathly silence, while the vehicles around halted to an abrupt stop. A lorry had collided with a car in the middle of the road. Okay, I put an exclamation mark. Okay, further down the road came the impatient blare of honks from oblivious drivers. You see, other drivers, okay, look at this here. Other drivers in the distance did not know what had happened. Okay, other drivers in the distance did not know what had happened. They began to honk angrily. So I just put here the impatient blare of honks from oblivious drivers. Oblivious drivers means drivers who did not know what had happened. Now, if you didn't know how to say did not know happened, or did not know means oblivious, meaning to say you are not aware of what has been happening around. So further down the road came the impatient blare of honks from oblivious drivers, which brings the same idea here. The driver did not know what happened, so they began to honk angrily, right? Okay, now let us go to the next one. We looked at one another before running down the overhead bridge to see if we could help. I took out my mobile phone and called for the police. Okay, so this is the paragraph given to you. So what are the words added here? We, the pedestrians on the bridge, exchanged looks of bewilderment before scuttling down the stairs to see if we could be of help. Scuttling down the stairs means not walking down. Scuttling means rushing down the stairs. Okay, running down the stairs. You see, instead of saying running down or walking down the stairs, okay, scuttling down. Okay, scuttling down the stairs to see if we could be of help. Instead of saying I took out my mobile phone, you can say I whipped out my mobile phone and related the accident to the police officer, or you can say I whipped out my mobile phone and related the accident to the police officer on the other side of the line as I scampered down the steps. You see, I put here scuttling down and scampered down the steps. These are two same actions, you know. So the first action, they all run down. The second action, he took out his handphone and called the police while running down the steps. But I did not use scuttling down twice. I used one scuttling down, another scampered down. So variety is important in essay writing, especially in continuous writing. You see, continuous writing, 50 marks, yeah? 50 marks. That can help you to score an A class. Okay? Next one, we saw the unconscious driver in the car. I was scared because the lorry there was blood on her hair and face. Her white blouse had blood too. The lorry driver got off from his vehicle and his face was very pale. He looked very scared, and when he saw the woman, he started to cry loudly. Okay, so how can this be improvised? When my eyes fell on the unconscious driver, I was flabbergasted. Flabbergasted means another way of expressing shock. You were shocked by the ghastly sight of her hair matted with crimson blood. Crimson blood means red blood. Okay, that was also flowing down the side of her face, staining her white blouse. Okay, as for the lorry driver, his pale face was in a daze as he stared at the ground blankly. He was so shaken by the collision that his lips were quivering. When he saw the victim, he gave a yowl of anguish. You see, he didn't shout. I didn't say he cried loudly here. I say a yowl of anguish, crying, okay, in regret and loudly, okay, and covered his face with his trembling hands, sobbing aloud in deep sorrow. You see, yowl of anguish and sobbing aloud. I did not repeat. Okay, I could not imagine the remorse that must have surged through his entire being. Right? Okay, and the last paragraph. Let's look. The whole accident was like a bad dream. and everyone watched very quietly. We waited for the ambulance and police. It was an accident that I would never forget. So here you can replace it like this. The whole accident was so surreal. Nobody knew what else to do except to wait helplessly for the police and ambulance to arrive. The paramedics carried the victim, interviewed the lorry driver and a few eyewitnesses regarding the accident. Indeed, it was a tragedy that I would never ever want to witness again. Okay, so that is about this accident. Okay, I will share link to this video after this. Okay, so that you can further explore. Now, the reason I'm sharing with you one essay after another is because for you to look at it, what are the things you can add on in your essay. Now, I'm done. Okay, I took so much time for narrative, sorry. Now, I'm going to look at page 9. Okay, look at page 9. Okay, we have 15 minutes left. I'm going to explore this for about 10 minutes. And then we will look at SPM past year questions on continuous writing, yeah? Okay, now, factual writing, argumentative writing, they all have the same way of writing, you see, like how you do directed writing. You need to have a thesis statement, you need to have your topic sentence, and then you need to have your supporting ideas. Okay, yeah, Ibrahim, I'll show the last slide just for a while, yeah? Okay, so this is the last slide for the session just now. Okay, no worries if you have missed anything, I will share it again. I will share it again. Okay, done. Share with you about cyberbullying. Okay, now. Okay, when we talk about this essay, okay, a factual essay, let us look at the slide. Okay, now look at this. The question says, many youths today have become perpetrators of victims of cyberbullying. What can be done to solve or prevent this? Okay, so when you're writing this type of essay, please be careful with your ideas, because the question here says, what can be done to solve or prevent this? So for this essay, you're supposed to give suggestions. Okay, what can be done to solve or prevent this? Now, when you write factual essays like this, okay, I'm going back, the first paragraph, for example, okay. Now, the idea that I have given in red here is actually the main idea, okay, the main idea of the essay. Okay, these are the introduction, the black ones are the introduction. Okay, this is the introduction, okay. So in my introduction here, if you see, in this day and age where the internet has gained such large influence in our day-to-day living, more children and teenagers are involved in what is known as cyberbullying. Essentially, cyberbullying is a term used to describe the use of the internet as an avenue to deliberately hurt others. Okay, so this is one example of introduction. Now, here, you look at the red one. This is the most important thing. You have to be clear in your introduction if you're writing a factual essay, what your entire essay is going to be about. You see, given the rampant increase of such activities among the youth in our country, certain measures must be implemented to prevent more cases of cyberbullying from taking place. So measures must be implemented to prevent more cases of cyberbullying from taking place. This part of the essay is very important and it must be written in first paragraph. Why? Because this one is telling the idea of what can be done or prevent this. So meaning to say in this paragraph, you are saying that important steps must be taken to prevent cases of cyberbullying from taking place. Okay, now factual essays, argumentative essays are very structured essays. So you have to follow this structure. Okay, now, okay, so you look at this in every paragraph. This is my second paragraph. I'll come back to this. The third paragraph, my fourth paragraph, fifth paragraph, and my final paragraph. Okay, you see, I have 3 paragraphs of points here. Okay, 4 paragraphs of point here. Okay, each paragraph, I start with the main idea. Okay, this is the main idea, and the rest of it are supporting ideas which is related to the main idea in the first sentence. And if you can, when you're writing factual or argumentative essay, the first sentence of each paragraph, put in your main idea, and then you move on to the elaboration. Okay, for example, I'm sharing with you this paragraph. To begin with, one would have to understand that there are two main groups of people who have to be dealt with. The first group would be the bullies, the people who initiate such acts of cyberbullying more often than not. Society is quick to label such a group of individuals to be wrong without doubt. However, taking an objective approach would unquestionably be the better alternative in handling these bullies. Okay, so if you look at this, okay, I said in the second paragraph, we have to deal with people who are doing bullying. So why we need to put this? Why we need to deal with them? I explain here. Okay, next one. In order to curb bullyism in cyberspace, the role of schools. So the question here is, okay, sorry, the question here is what can be done to solve? So I'm putting here the roles, different roles. The first role is the role of schools and police force would be vital, as both organizations would have to strike an effective partnership to combat this problem. So schools, okay, so here, what did I say here? The role of schools and police to stop bullying, cyberbullying. So I put the role of schools and police force. What they can do, I explain here. Schools may organize talks or exhibitions to create a greater awareness of cyberbullying among students. Okay, so basically this is very much closer to directed writing as well. So if you have you know how to develop your content point for directed writing. So the same way you can apply here for factual and argumentative. Okay, for descriptive and narrative, okay, there's a different style of writing that I shared earlier, right? In the entire 1 hour just now, I was sharing about narrative and descriptive, which have a different style of writing. Okay, so but when it comes to factual and argumentative, you have a different way of writing, like what I'm sharing it here. Okay, so if you see, schools may organize talks or exhibitions to create a greater awareness of cyberbullying among students, while the police may further emphasize the severity of cyberbullying and the consequence that could follow. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest. Okay, I'll share it with you later, yeah? Now, another point that I have added here, the school would also have to constantly show support to remind their students that they have the right to stand up against the perpetrators, and I have elaborated it here. Okay, and the fourth one is lastly, by we know. Okay, I put here lastly, okay, would be the rest of the school population. We need to say the role of the school population. Okay, okay, my idea here entirely focused on school. If you want to focus, you can put school, you can put the society, you can put parents and family roles. These three things as your different ideas and then elaborate them. Okay? And then I come in. Okay, do not say as a conclusion, it's in conclusion. Okay? Now, so in conclusion, the anonymity of cyberbullying is one of the key factors that leads to rampancy. Now, in your conclusion part, do not introduce any new idea, but you generally simplify whatever that you have said or summarize whatever that you have argued in paragraph 2, 3, 4, all this entire paragraph. Okay, all these paragraphs that you have argued, okay, you can put in your conclusion by summarizing them. For example, here, in conclusion, the anonymity of cyberbullying is one of the key factors that suggested approaches are adopted. There would be most definitely be no lingering doubt that the issue of cyberbullying can be significantly reduced. Nonetheless, one should be warned that the process could potentially be a long one, for it takes time accompanied by a concerted effort before positive results can be seen. Now, if you see here, this essay, I'm going back to the question again, have become perpetrators or victims of cyberbullying. What can be done? Now, if you are reading this essay as a sample essay, what we need to focus here is, okay, the structure. Second, look at the tenses that I have used for this essay. Look at the tenses that I have used for this essay. All right, okay, the tenses, okay, it developed mostly in simple present tense. Now, the question also says what can be done. So your phrases can be suggestive, meaning to say what can be done to improve. Okay, what can be done to make things better. Can be improved, things that can be made better, right? Okay, so you see the entire idea has been developed into simple present tense. Now you can also use past tense. For example, if you are bringing an idea from the past, in the past, okay, last year, 2 years ago, there was a case. If you want to bring an example of a cyberbullying case, or 10 years ago, okay, that part you can bring past tense. Okay, now you see suggestive ideas. Look at this paragraph. School may organize talks. School use of model words to bring when you get the question, when you're writing doing sample essays, read the questions carefully are developed, study that. Okay, and before we end the last 5 minutes, I'm going to share with you last year SPM question here. Okay, look at the first question. Someone else, who would you choose to be? Explain what would be good about being that person and what might be difficult. Okay, so in your essay, when you're writing your essay, you have to be very clear who is the person. Now, can you choose more than one person? Explain what would be good about being that person. So you choose only one person. For example, if I had the chance to be someone else, I would choose to be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Okay, I would choose to be the Prime Minister of Malaysia. Now, what good can that be and how difficult things might get? You have to elaborate that. Okay, you see, I have underlined. Now, you see, SPM questions have evolved over the years. I'm using the word evolve because it has been improvised, and you need to pay attention to a lot of things. You have to, for example, this question, you have to say who you would choose. Second, you have to say what good would it be about being that person and what might be difficult. There are 3 things that you need to cover in your essay. So be careful. A lot of students miss this, yeah? Okay, who you would choose, okay, and what good would that be and what might be difficult. These 3 things you need to cover in your writing. This is the first question, SPM 2019. Okay, second question, SPM 2019. Modern inventions have made our life much too complicated. Things used to be a lot simpler in the past. Okay, modern inventions have made our life much complicated. Things used to be a lot simpler in the past. How far do you agree? Now, this question, you have to argue, you have to state how far do you agree with this statement. Okay, you can agree and you can choose to disagree. Okay, but you have to give reason. Explain why. How far do you agree? When you say how far you agree, meaning to say there is an extent. You can agree to a certain extent and you can disagree to a certain extent. Okay, or you can disagree to a certain extent, you can agree to a certain extent, because it says how far do you agree. It didn't say do you, it didn't say do you agree. Okay, if the question says how far do you agree. And now you look at these questions. Modern inventions have made our life much too complicated. So if you want to agree, you have to say how complicated it has. Modern invention made our life. Second, things used to be a lot simpler in the past. So what was simpler in the past? So this one you have to really think. This is a hot question, yeah? This is a hot question. So you really have to think clearly. Third question. This one a lot of students like to write. Story. Write about two people who had an argument because one of them had lost the mobile phone. Now, this story is very clear. You have two people. Not necessarily they must be friends. It's two people. Okay. And what the story is about, one of them had lost the mobile phone. This is your plot. Okay. Two people argument. Okay. Argument. So this argument between two people, you have to have two characters. And these two characters have to argue because one person had lost a mobile phone. Okay, you have to describe these two people, you have to describe this argument, you have to describe the mobile phone and whether it was found or it was not found, what happened at the end. Okay, and your story with, and they both realized how foolish they had been, not the both are, and they both realized how foolish they had been. Okay, this is question 3. Question 4. Which do you think is more important, money or health? Okay, this one is giving you an option, money or health. And it's not asking you, how far do you agree? I ask you to compare the two. Meaning to say this question, you have to give comparison between money and health. You give comparison first, then you decide which one is more important. Decide if one is more important than the other. You look at the question, decide if one is more important than the other. Decide if one is more important than the other. What does it mean? If one is more important or both are important, there is a if here. Pay attention to the if. Decide if one is more important than the other, or are they both important? Or do you have an opinion only one is important? So you can decide because there is an if here. So these are the key words. A lot of students all the time they lost marks because they miss all these key important keywords. Okay, compare. You see a lot of students, they fail to compare. They immediately say money is more important. They do not compare. They do not make comparison, and they write what money can do. Okay, and some students, they continue talking about health, and they forget to compare. And the last one, the day you first met your best friend. This is a descriptive essay. Describe where you were. Here you have to describe the place, how you began talking to each other, and when you describe where you place and how you talk to each other, you also have to describe your best friend. Okay, describe your best friend. You see, it's not only describing one thing, you know, you're describing a person, you are describing a place, you are also describing the action, how you began talking to each other. There are 3 ways of describing here: the place, the person, the action. And explain here how your friendship has developed since that time. Also describing how it continued to develop. So you see, a few ways of describing is here. Okay, so you need to know how to describe a place, a person, and also action, just like I have shown to you earlier. Okay, so if you have any questions, sorry that we have reached 12:30. Okay, these are a few alternatives that you can get connected to me. Okay, you can always visit my Facebook, or you can go to my blog. There are a lot of essays that I've uploaded on my blog. You can go and look for those essays there. You can also visit my YouTube channel. There are also essays there. And you can send me personal email if you want me to help you. If you have anything that you want to ask, you may not be able to ask now, you can ask at by emailing me. Okay, I'm stop sharing the screen now. Okay, now we have towards the end of our session for today. Okay, I would like to say thank you to everyone. The session is recorded. I will share with you maybe by tomorrow on a YouTube platform. Now, if you would like to ask questions, I'll be waiting here for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, you can type out your questions on the chat box. I will answer to your, tend to your questions. Or else, thank you and